Now that we find out that, we get to go into what I was talking about beforehand when I was talking about 45-45-90s and 30-60-90s. May have been confusing. I know it wasn't, but here we are. So, with your 30-90, with the 30-60-90 triangle, you could always use tangent and all that, but an easier way is just by memory. So, but you have to know at least one of the angles and that one of them is a 90 triangle before you resort to these methods. Because once you know one angle, you know the other, as long as there's a 90. So with the 30, 60, 90 triangles, it's exactly what it means. There's a 30 angle, a 60 angle, and a 90 angle. Once again, that adds up to 180. So how it works is the shortest leg is always x. That you should just need any of these legs and hypotenuses, but x is always a good start. So you know that your shortest leg is going to be x. So let's say it's here. X is 4. So then your hypotenuse will always be 2x on 30, 60, 90s. So then 4 times 2 is 8. And then your longest leg will always be x to x the square root of 3. So you're going to have 4 square root of 3. I'm just going to put this in my calculator just to make sure that doesn't add up to something. Okay, my calculator says it is 6.9, nice number. Okay, that would be this, according to my calculator. So those are 30, 60, 90s. So then, moving over to 45, 45, 90, which is very simple. And they're very easy to notice. So you just need 45 in one angle, like the one that I was pointing out like a long time ago. And then you have your x and your x. So both of the legs are the same length. So x is 5, which means you already know that these two legs are 5. So and your hypotenuse on 45, 45, 90s will always be x2. So that is 7.0710, which works out if you're thinking about that. So actually, let's go here. I skipped this because it looked complicated. Really wasn't complicated. Actually, I think this was on a test once. So you know the length of this whole area right here. Back when we were doing congruency, you'd be able to find this out. Actually, you wouldn't because there's not enough information. But, so these, since there's a line in the middle and there's two separate right angles, you know that these are two different triangles. So you have 30 there, which means this is 60. Which means you have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So, this hypotenuse, you know, is 2x, which means half of 9 is 45. I mean, 4.5. At least, yes, that is correct. And this is always x in a 30, 60, 90 because it is the shorter leg. So now you have x. Now, you can easily find this out using the 30, 60, 90 method. Once again, you wouldn't be able to use this unless you knew that there was a 30, 60, and 90, which means you need to have a right angle, a 30, or a 60. Already told you. So, you know, the long leg on a 30, 60, 90 is x square root of 3. So our x is 4.5. We do square root of 3, which is 7.72. So you found out for that. Now it wants you to find out for this. Now that you know, normally since this is a 40, there's no special way to find out stuff. So, and you don't have a length for, actually, you do have this, but let's go on if you haven't found this length yet, because they share this length. It's an easy way to make something congruent. But since you know this, you can subtract that from 20. And that'll give you 15.5. Didn't want to do math there. Because you're taking off this part of the 20, which you can just subtract from this from the 20. So now you know the length of this, and you have an angle, and you have an x. So once again, it's opposite over adjacent, so you're going to want to use that sign. 40... It's I'm gonna have 15.5 over x. You know, put this into your calculator. So you're going to have, that makes this 24.1137. Okay. That should be all you need to know about basic trigonometry. I hope you learned something.